Hey everybody, Keto Mom Stephanie here, and I'm so excited because today we get to interview Ryan Lowry, soon to be Dr. Ryan Lowry. He's a fitness and ketone expert. So today we're going to learn about ketones.
Yeah.
So my first question to you is, what do you do and why do you do it?
That's a great question. So one of the things is, here at ASBI, one of the things we try and do is really bridge the gap between hardcore science and everyday application. So take these complex topics and break them down for people to understand. And really our why is to change people's lives through science and innovation. And so we've done a lot of research with ketogenic diets, exogenous ketones, and really finding how can they be utilized by humans for things like cognitive function and just overall health and performance. So that's kind of what we do on a day-to-day basis, and then taking that information and making it practical for people to utilize.
Like me.
Thank you.
I love it. You guys created KetoMax. What is the differentiator between KetoMax and any other company creating a keto product or ketones and bringing it into the marketplace?
Great question. So one of the things that's really unique about KetoMax, if you think about like the game Tetris, right? So everyone knows what Tetris is. There's different pieces and they fall in, and some fall in perfectly,
right,
and some don't really fall in the right way. Well, what KetoMax has done, and the patent pending unique ingredients that are in there, it has the specific form that our body has where it fits in perfectly, whereas a lot of the other companies and a lot of the other ketones that are out on the market don't. They're kind of like, they don't really fit as well, so they're
right,
not as bioavailable. So
okay,
with KetoMax, it's using these patent pending formulations that do fit perfectly. It's the natural type that your body produces. So we've been able to kind of mimic that and provide that in a formulation where it fits in perfectly, and it's the most bioavailable there is really that we've seen in any test.
I love it. So with these other products coming into the marketplace, let's say a lip gloss or a spray or a patch, they can use these buzzwords that say like ketones or salts or ketogenic diet. So if they can put that product in any of these different formulations, or even a lower price product, a lower price powder, is that the same as our KetoMax? I mean, will it work the same?
So here's the thing, and this is something I'm really nervous about even going forward, is that a lot of people are really using these buzzwords,
right,
ketones and using the ketogenic diet. But the thing is this, like if you think about a patch, right? So people, if you put a patch on, the amount that could actually fit into a patch is a milligram level. Like you're never going to be able to get an effective dose for what we've seen. You can see performance or health benefits.
Right.
So the challenge is always going to be, a lot of these companies are going to use these buzzwords, sprinkle in some of the ingredients like exogenous ketones, and then try and tell the same story when unfortunately a lot of these people wouldn't see any benefit because you're just not getting the effective dose that you would need to see that benefit.
Right.
So that's the challenge.
All right, so tell me, who can use these KetoMax or the exogenous ketones, and how often should they use them? Can kids use them? To elderly? I'm a mom, or athletes?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's such a unique ingredient because oftentimes, I mean, we've been in the sport nutrition and supplement world for over a decade, and so a lot of these ingredients, it may be beneficial for this type of population versus this type, but ketones themselves seem to have a wide variety because there's so many different functions, right? So you talk about cognitive performance, well, who doesn't need cognitive performance or a little pick-me-up? I just recently did an interview and was talking about traumatic brain injury, and it's a really, really interesting topic. And anyone that's involved in any type of sport or activity that suffers repeated head trauma, that could be an extremely important tool to utilize there as well. So it kind of could be used for anyone throughout the entire lifespan. There isn't really a restriction that we've really seen for people to utilize it.
And do you feel like there's a specific time or day like to use them? So like my kids, for example, they're not looking to lose weight, which a lot of people think. I use it because it helps them learn better. Or me as a mom, I work with a lot of moms, so like more energy and focus, but is there a better, like a specific time to take them, or does that not really matter?
You know, I prefer taking them like in between meals. So I think in between your meals or using them as any time where you need really a pick-me-up is going to be the most optimized time to take them. But again, it's going to be varied per individual, varied for their lifestyle, and kind of when it fits in appropriately for them.
I love it. Okay, can you tell us any research or studies that you're doing with KetoMax, or anything you are looking at that you can share with us?
Oh yes, absolutely. So that's one of the things that I love about what's Pruitt's done, and what's really brought them to a whole nother level is that they're taking their product and they're willing to put it to the test.
Right.
So again, in the sport nutrition world and the supplement world, it's very rare that companies are willing to actually, quote unquote, put their money where their mouth is and fund research to kind of get this done. So right now, I know Prove It has 3 ongoing studies at universities across the world.
Yeah.
And so some of them are looking at performance metrics, so looking at like cycling performance and kind of their fatigue and how athletes kind of work with it. One of them is just looking at general safety. So what happens if you have different levels of dosing? How does that affect someone over 30 days? And what does that mean for things like cognitive performance metrics? So there's a lot of data that's being developed and a lot of stuff that we're even seeing in our lab doing pilot studies with everyone from elite athletes to your general pop. And so it's really, it's amazing to see that type of research being done, and that's really what it's going to take this conversation and push it to the next level.
Can you say, like, are you seeing a positive response with the product, or?
So right now, for instance, like the patented technology that's in KetoMax, like we're doing a lifelong animal study, and the results that we've seen are groundbreaking. Like even our collaborator who's running a lot of the analysis is kind of blown away by what he's seen. It's been truly amazing to see the kind of effects that we're seeing on like longevity and lifespan. But everything seems to be going in a positive direction. When we're doing stuff with athletes here on, say, like reaction time, like in our cognitive lab, you can look at like someone's ability to react to a stimulus or even track their eyes and how fast they move. All of that is going in the right direction, and we're seeing positive benefit.
So do you feel like taking this product, as either me or an athlete, do you have to do the ketogenic diet with it? Or can somebody eat, say, the Western diet? Like, is there a specific diet they should use, or can they just take the product?
Great question. So we always encourage a low carbohydrate, like ketogenic diet. One of the things we have seen in some of our animal research, we have seen positive benefits even with those animals who are on a traditional Western diet. So a lot of our research in the animal realm is done just with animals who are consuming their normal chow and then supplementing on top of it. So I don't think it's absolutely necessary. People just need to take it into context and learn how to properly utilize it. And education and what you guys are putting out there is the best thing that anyone could ever utilize and how they implement it.
Right, so our family's doing more lifestyle approach. We use the lifestyle word. I don't like diet. So we'll do low carb and take the product. We feel great.
I love the lifestyle approach because honestly, at the end of the day, diets aren't, they come and they go, but it's really about how do we foster and how do we educate on the ketogenic lifestyle itself. And I think exogenous ketones and what Prove It's doing can really fit really well into that lifestyle.
Right, I agree. Okay, a question I get asked often is weight loss. Am I going to see weight loss? And I always say, well, it's fat loss, but can you explain all the benefits of KetoMax?
Absolutely. So a lot of people come into the conversation and they hear fat loss and ketones and they kind of want to learn more. Indirectly themselves, ketones can help with fat loss. Things like satiety. If you're not eating as much and ketones can kind of help you fat fast a little bit longer, you'll absolutely see that. In addition, in a lot of the work that we're seeing, we talk about like brown fat. Brown fat is the type of fat that we want. We don't want the white fat. Typically, when you look at people who are obese or severely overweight, they have a lot of white fat. It's around their organs. It's not very good. Brown fat's a good type of fat. It's what we call thermogenically active. It burns a lot of calories, which is good. Ketones themselves seem to increase that type of fat, and we've seen that in our animal models. But beyond that, I mean, the cognitive aspects are what really intrigues me the most. Ketones really get absorbed and taken up by the brain and the heart very rapidly. So that's where a lot of the research that we're doing right now is kind of focusing on the brain aspect of where ketones can have involvement. And then on top of that, I mean, Dr. Angela Poff talks about this a lot, is ketones themselves, beyond just the fuel source and the cognitive aspect, they're a signaling molecule. And that's very rare for a product or an ingredient to have. And they work directly on the cell, and they're directly on things that are involved in like DNA repair. So that's a really intriguing aspect in how ketones themselves can be involved in a signaling process, but then also be able to provide a fuel source to the brain. So I think there's a ton of potential. I just think we're on the brink of finding out some even more potential that they have. But I'm super excited to keep digging into this research realm even further.
So what about the caffeine in the product? You can get caffeine or non-caffeine. Why would somebody want the caffeine? Because I feel like caffeine kind of has a either negative or positive, but people would say like, well, why do I want caffeine? Isn't it bad?
Right. So a lot of people, And a lot of it's going to be based on preference. Like personally, I don't do well with caffeine. Like,
Okay.
if I can take caffeine, but like I'm jittery,
Right,
so
yeah.
I use it strategically.
Okay.
Like if I'm going to get a hard workout in, I'll use caffeine at
Yep.
the right time. If I'm jet lagged, I'll use caffeine. Some people love caffeine. If you drink coffee
Yep.
frequently, it's a perfect product. But there's actually data that shows that caffeine actually increases ketone production even further. So if people are interested in having caffeine and can tolerate caffeine
Right.
very well, it could actually potentially even further that response.
Yeah.
So there's
I like
a lot
the
of
caffeine.
potential. Yeah.
Okay, so I took a KetoMax about an hour ago. If
Yeah.
we test my blood,
Let's see what comes
and
up.
okay, maybe we should talk about this real quick. Like, how would somebody test their ketones? Because I always have people peeing on the sticks and they'll say it didn't turn color or different things. So how would you suggest? Either go by feeling, blood, there's a breathing thing, like.
You know, all of them are different in their own unique way. They all measure different types of ketone
Okay.
bodies. The urine strips are good, but they're not very reliable
Okay.
over time. So the one thing that we see, like for instance, I've been on like a ketogenic diet and supplementing with exogenous ketones for a long time
Right.
now. So like, but even if I were to pee on a stick, it wouldn't show anything.
Right.
So the best marker that we utilize in a lot of the research is the blood.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the best type to look at. But again, keep in mind that a lot of people that have been supplementing for a long period of time or that are on a lower carbohydrate
Right.
diet, just because there's not a huge amount in their blood, you can't compare apples to oranges. You can't compare to your neighbor and go, oh my gosh, I'm 4 millimolar, you're 0.1.
Right.
Because that could mean that person's really good at taking them up into tissue.
Okay.
And you might not because you haven't been adapted
Right.
for a long period of time. So it varies by individual.
So once it's taken up into your tissue, so say we test my blood, which we're going to do in a minute, and is your body still utilizing it even if you can't see it in my blood? Like if my tissue's taking it up or my brain, it's still there?
100%.
Okay.
So if it's getting taken up into your brain's utilizing it.
Yep.
It's still involved in a lot of those signaling aspects that
Yep.
we talked about earlier. So it's absolutely being used. Think about it. If there's a certain amount that's going in,
Right.
it's going somewhere to be utilized.
Right.
So how that's being utilized is the whole
Everyone's
intriguing
different.
aspect. Absolutely.
I love it. Okay, let's test the blood.
Let's see what we got.
We'll see.
Do I have to do it?
Should I wipe my finger off or no? Should it be okay? I don't know. I don't know. Guess it doesn't. We'll see. Hopefully it works.
Let's see.
Maybe my body utilized it really, really well.
Could be.
What do you do?
What'd I do to Mom?
Let's see if there's some ketones in this blood.
Let's see.
I'm gonna check.
A 1.8.
1.8.
Is that great? So
That's
explain the
really
number.
good. So 1.8 is really high. That's actually really impressive. So how long ago did you drink it?
An hour ago. About an hour ago.
That's really good. And so oftentimes, so the way we look at like nutritional ketosis, it's anything above like 0.3 millimoles.
Okay.
So 0.3 and you're at 1.8.
Right.
So that's actually really incredible. Like this is what we would look for someone who's like in deep nutritional ketosis.
Yep.
This is like the type of numbers that we see.
Yes.
Good job.
Woo!
That's awesome.
Okay.
That's great.
Okay, so we just wanted to say, from our family to you, like you've changed our family through Prove It and so many other families I know, so we wanted to thank you for your commitment, for your passion, for your desire, and truly like championing this ketone conversation because it's changed our family's life.
Aw,
So we want to
well,
say thank you. We truly are
I
appreciative.
appreciate you guys. And you know, it's amazing because what you do every day in the lab, and you really don't think it'll ever get out and reach the amount of people that it's been able to reach. So
Right.
thank you guys for championing the conversation.
We love it. So,
Awesome.
thank you.